Well, you portrayed confidence when you went into the fight. Was that for real?
Yeah, I was very confident. Very confident. I felt really good. All those things, man, just felt excellent. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna go out there and lose, I'm gonna lose it. Whatever. But I'm gonna enjoy myself the whole time.
Did you mind that people really didn't give you a chance at winning? Did that bother you that everybody really thought that Chuck Liddell would win the fight and you didn't stand a chance?
It bothered me just a bit. I was in the back dressing room and I was warming up, and I'm looking at the screen, and I was reading. It had a text message.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is going to win? And I was like, man, only 18% people, and I was like, man, 15%. The number just kept getting lower, and I was like, wow, there's going to be a lot of upset people tonight.
Yeah, definitely. But actually, they weren't upset. They were thrilled because it was the most thrilling knockout of the year. And from everyone that I've been talking to, nobody's saying, well, what a fluke. Rashad lucked out. It was definitely skill, Rashad. How much do you, Greg Jackson's camp? You're the second one from Greg Jackson's camp. How much do you attribute to Greg Jackson's camp?
No, I attribute always to Greg Jackson's camp. Except for me going out there and executing. But my coach, Mike Winklejohn, he worked a lot with me, and he was like, listen, this is how you're going to beat him. Your overhand right is there all day, and you have such a strong overhand right. I'm telling you, you hit him with a shot, you would knock him out. And earlier that day, we were hitting mitts, kind of getting warmed up before the fight even happened. And, he says, this is going to happen. Hit him with the overhand right, you got to knock him out, and they're not going to let me in the octagon and congratulate you. That's exactly what happened.
Exactly.
He was like, I'm not gonna jump over the cage. I'm gonna be so excited for you.
Now, the showmanship that you're accused of, is that your style? Do you do it on purpose? Is it part of your game plan?
Yeah, it's just how I move. It's just how I move, how I get into my rhythm. If you watch me wrestle in college, I wrestled the same way. I had a lot of movement. I tried to create angles, try to make my opponent guess what's going on and stuff like that. And it's just how I move. When I'm at my most comfortable, when I'm being me, when I'm competing the way I like to compete, that's how I like to do it because, a lot of people are like, oh, you got to go in there and be mean and want to rip his head off. But that's never my intent whenever I do anything to compete. It's always trying to, like a street baller, trying to shake him out of his drawer, or trying to, do something clever to make him look silly. Just things like that, because that's what's fun to me. This is about fun. It's not about going out there and trying to kill somebody.
And I did hear your corner say, I didn't hear who said it, but that you're moving around was pissing him off. So, do you play up on that? Were you like, good, because you want to piss him off, you want to throw him off, so do you kind of add to it a little bit?
Yeah, that was Keith Jardine. He knows what I'm good at, and he's like, because we spar and we do things, and he knows when I get into that zone, get comfortable, then I'm hard to stop. And he's seen it was pissing him off, and he's like, yeah, keep doing it, because he's really getting mad, and he's starting to chase. He never chases.
Now, you definitely had your wife's support, because we heard her screaming. How's your family support? What can you tell me about your family?
Well, wife, she got kind of upset because everybody thought that was screaming. Well, it wasn't. And I said, baby, that's okay if it wasn't you screaming. She said, it wasn't even me screaming, but, it's okay. It was actually my sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but everybody thought it was her, but she was upset about it. But maybe it's okay, man. Everybody else has been screaming if they're a Chuck fan, so don't worry about it just because Joe Rogan said so.
Well, that is family support then. Your sister was screaming for you. Your wife was there, happy as can be.
I'm so happy because, you having everybody looking at me. I mean, the whole week, everybody's looking at me like I'm a lamb being led to the slaughter.
Right.
Looking at me as if, to say, well, if you lose, it's okay, you can fight Chuck Liddell, and, kind of trying to, soften me up a little bit to say, to concede to the fact that I thought I was going to lose, but I didn't think I was going to lose. I didn't think for a second I was going to lose that fight.
Where did your confidence come from, Rashad?
You know, just knowing that Keith beat him, knowing that Keith beat him, I knew that, you know, I can go in there and compete against him and beat him myself. And I had a great camp. You know, I had Paul Bonatello come out, and he was excellent because, you know, he's very fast, and he has very heavy hands, and he hits like an ox. So I was like, you know what, if I can go in there and spar with Keith, spar with Paul Bonatello, train with everybody that I train with, all my training partners, you know, George St. Pierre, Nate Marcourt, Joey Villasenor, David LeWilder, and all those great guys who helped support me. I was like, there's no way that I should go in there and get killed by anybody.
Now, there was a time period where you didn't fight from November 2007 until your fight with Chuck last week. Why that 9.5-month period?
You know, a couple fights fell through, and one being Chuck and Rashad fight, the first schedule to go down in June. And then, you know, almost like fate, you know, James Irvin, he got injured as well. He broke his foot, so he wasn't able to fill in the spot which he was supposed to against Chuck. So it kind of left me in a position where I just had to sit and wait, you know, to see who was next for me to compete against. And luckily I got the opportunity to face Chuck, and he returned and he was healthy.
You grew up in New York. You just fought last week in Atlanta. You train in New Mexico, and right now you're in Chicago. What are you doing in Chicago?
Well, actually now I'm back in Michigan. But
okay.
In Chicago, I have family out in Chicago, and you know, my wife, she's from Chicago area, so it's 3 hours from here, and that's where we go most of the time.
So, are you taking time off right now?
Yeah, I was in the gym last night training a bit, but you know, I'm pretty much just just taking it easy stage. I have a couple friends of mine who have a fight coming up, so I kind of help out, and I have to go out and help out Keith Jardine for his camp for Brandon Vera.
Yes.
October 18th, so I gotta help him get ready for that.
Oh, good. Now, the upcoming Ultimate Fighter, your brother is going to be on.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay. So, isn't that the same weight as you as well?
Yes.
So he's going to be your competition, or is that his normal weight?
No, it's not his normal. He's normally heavyweight, but he's about my height, so it's not really tall for heavyweight. So his heavyweights now are so big, so he decided he got an opportunity at 205, and he was like, you know what, I'm going to take it. It's like my situation from before, but it's in reverse, because before I went up to heavyweight, but he dropped down to 205.
So you must be kind of excited about that, having your brother in there as well.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I mean, me and my brother are really close for 2 years apart. He's 2 years older than me, but we've done everything together. We've done everything together. He's been my best friend. We all have the same friends and everything, so we do a lot together. We actually started fighting at the same time, but the area that I was in, I actually had a little bit, just a better situation for us, training for mixed martial arts than he did, and then I got put on before he did. But we started training at the same time.
Oh wow!
We actually had our first pro fight at the same time as well.
Huh. Now, I know that normally fighters are left after a fight wondering who's going to be next, but apparently Dana has said at the press conference after the fight that you're going to go straight on and fight Forrest Griffin?
Yeah, that's the word, man. And, that's so exciting. I knew this day would come, but I didn't know how long it would take or whatnot. But I was patient and knew that if I just keep fighting, keep winning, that I get a shot. And to know that the shot is right there, it's like, for real.
It was a beautiful, beautiful moment, Rashad. You deserve to be so proud of yourself. I would like to wrap up the interview with you saying some things to your fans.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all my fans who support me and who believe in me, because being a Rashad Evans fan is not an easy thing, because there's so many people who just root for me to lose. But that's okay, because that's exactly what makes me stronger.